So, I never actually asked you, how exactly did you get into crypto?
Are you sure you want to hear the story? Okay, I'm gonna keep it short. I'm gonna keep it super
I think
short.
I'm going to regret.
Yeah, you.
asking.
Not only you, even the viewers. They're just gonna click play, listen to the first 15 seconds, and say, okay, no, this guy is done for. So I joined crypto unofficially on 2016 or 17, mining Ethereum, and then I left. And then I joined again in 2021. I don't want to talk about the Ethereum that I had mined. And then in 2021, I joined as a content writer, I think. You were the guy who actually brought me back to crypto. I don't know if you remember. We were playing pool.
Yeah, but like we joined a little bit earlier.
We
know
joined in 2020.
the Dogecoin tweets.
Yeah, the Dogecoin craze
in 2020.
Yeah, we actually bought Dogecoin. We bought Dogecoin in 2020.
You did.
Oh shit, yeah, the credit cards didn't work. But still, I mean, we were there. We joined crypto in 2020, but officially and professionally, let's say, we joined in 2021. And then it was a roller coaster, right? I don't even know anything else that happened in my life since 2021.
Yeah, I remember like 2021 being the first full year I was into crypto.
Yeah.
And like it was the best year ever in terms of crypto.
And then
I was like, how come nobody's working in this industry, you know?
Yeah.
How come everyone is not like killing themselves and leaving their jobs?
Yeah.
And
selling their houses.
Yeah, selling their kidneys and working in this industry because everything was going up and stuff. But
then
a lot of stuff happened. I mean,
yeah.
But it's really interesting because most of the people that I know that are into crypto, they join for the same reasons as we did. I mean, you could say that you want to join for the tech, but at the end of the day,
bro,
the majority of people want to join because there's money to be made.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of professions that, in my opinion, did not necessarily intertwine with crypto back in the day. And then NFTs came and then made tokenization of everything very accessible. Like, you even had artists, like even Bangers. Shout out to Bangers once again.
We keep mentioning Bangers in every episode.
If I remember,
sponsor us. If you want to sponsor us, please, yeah.
If I remember correctly, she joined because she made some sort of artwork and then
she put it on blockchain.
Yeah, she made NFTs. But is that really the only course of action?
In what sense? In art?
In the sense that you would have to go through this extensive learning curve on understanding how everything works. You cannot just leave that stuff to someone else and handle it for you.
See, I don't agree. I mean, in 2021, that was the case. We were writing articles, we were doing this, analyzing the whole. We're not technical guys, none of us, but the issue is that.
Can you stop saying that sentence, please?
Which one?
We're not technical.
But we aren't. Are you technical? Do you know what happens in the backend?
I don't know, but I don't have to.
If I show you like the backend of an infrastructure project right now, you're gonna.
Yes, but if I hang out with a billionaire, I wouldn't have to say to his face, "I'm not a billionaire" every 2 sentences.
Okay, fuck. I'm just not gonna talk for the rest of the episode. Not for real. What I'm trying to say is, even fundamentally, you just gotta understand what a project does. Because I don't know how credit card really works, but I use it. You just gotta know what a project does, what a fucking app is used for, and that's it. You don't need to go through the whole hassle of adding a fucking blockchain to MetaMask anymore. You go to Phantom, you go to any other new gen wallet, and you just click add this blockchain, right? And they take care of the backend for you. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, the user experience is not as it used to be, and like people joining crypto right now, they're having a much easier time joining crypto. But there's still so much, there's this huge gap of education in terms of onboarding people, and I think that's where like real communities that are like brewing in Discord and Telegram and NFT communities as well, and
but that's what I'm trying to point out. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's why I'm helping you, bro. Because like maybe I'm not technical, but I'm better at explaining something.
The thing I was trying to say was that who joins crypto and for what? Like you have people in developing countries that need to transfer money in a faster way than with traditional means like banks and Western Union or whatever that can take weeks. Those kind of people that really have the need for this technology, they join people. Or you have traders that are more, or let's say less risk averse in this case, and want to play with higher leverage. By the way, if you want to trade with higher leverage, you can always use flash trade.
Exactly. That's
What was I trying to say?
You were trying to say that different people join crypto for different reasons.
But I wanted to like be a musician in the past.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to.
He makes banger fucking music, by the way. This guy is a genius.
I used to make, but I never
plays
thought
the piano with his eyes closed. Shut up.
I never thought of like utilizing blockchain technology to utilize that skill with blockchain technology. But then we have the likes of CryptoKelly, which we have him as a guest today.
We met him in Istanbul.
Yes, we met him in Istanbul. We met him during a side event, and it was an event that he helped organize himself. And his journey, like, it's the proper rags to riches journey in crypto, and it's very inspiring. And I look forward to having him here today. I mean, not physically, but virtually, and talk us through like how people, for example, musicians, in his case, transition from that specific industry into Web3, and how blockchain has helped the likes of him, really make it into this industry.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, let's hop on a call with him and let's see where this goes.
Perfect.
All right.
Hello, and welcome, Kelly, to another episode of HodlUp. We're very excited to have you here today. So, how are you, first of all?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Well, perfect. I mean, we're trying to build. The market is kind of recovering, and it's caught off a bit like unprepared maybe, but it's good. It's good. I mean, it can always be better, but you know how it goes. So to break the ice, when we met in Istanbul, you mentioned the transition that you had into crypto. So if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned being part of the music industry in the beginning and then slowly transitioning into crypto. So can you like give us a brief introduction on yourself, as well as how did you get into crypto, and how was that transition like for you as well?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I was, for a long period of time, I was a musician. I worked in a bunch of different cities in the US. I was playing bass, guitar, drums, piano, and singing in bands like pretty much all over the US. And that was a huge part of my life. And I started to want to leave the US. So I was trying to figure out where I could go. And the pandemic happened, and I lost all my gigs. My girlfriend broke up with me 2 weeks before. I had to leave the place I was living. So I was just like, where can I go? And I wanted to explore the world more. And so I sold all my stuff. I left the US, and originally I wanted to go to like Southeast Asia, but I landed in Istanbul and I really liked the environment there. I felt like it was a really cool community of people that I was meeting, and there was so many different cultures, and I just liked how diverse it was, and in a very different way than I was ever used to living in the US. And so I came here from living in the Bay Area. I was in San Francisco, Oakland area, and I was deciding what I can do now that I'm here living in a foreign country where I don't speak the language. I don't know anyone. I've never even heard Turkish before. So it was a big adjustment for me. And crypto, I started looking more into. I had heard about it in 2012. Some random dude on the bus was talking about Bitcoin and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, but I don't know if I can trust some sketchy random dude on the bus, So I was just trying to find a way to like introduce myself to it slowly, and I met some people who did it over the years, and people that I thought were smart. Like, okay, these people are smart. There's something here. The more I look into it, I like the concepts behind it. And then when I found NFTs, it made total sense to me as a musician, because streaming has completely captured all the value of our work. You spend thousands of dollars recording, buying the instruments, buying the access to the studio. Like, you spend a lot of hours making songs, and there's the marketing side and the distribution side, and what material are you going to put this album on that you spent all this time on. But now it's all been reduced down to subscription-based models where 99% of the revenue goes to the publishers and the distributors instead of the artists themselves. So I found that I wanted to find a way to capture the value of the artist's work, and NFTs were that way. Not only could you sell individual or whole like pieces of music again, you could also attach all of these benefits to them for your brand and for the growth of you as an artist. And so the more I started to see that there was way more to this than just NFTs, than just monkey pictures of like Bored Apes or CryptoPunks. Like, I met some people who had CryptoPunks, and I remember the first time they showed it to me, I was like, why is this worth $15,000? Like, at the time, this is like April 21. And I was just like, what is going on? But the more I learned about it, I saw like, there's a legitimate industry here that's professional, that has a way to use the technology in a very useful way for creatives. So I started trading. I started a little bit of a fund that people were asking me to invest for them. And I just started helping people understand what is real and what is just hype. And so I started writing in the Magic Eden Discord. I got a job working as a collaboration manager for them in April of 22. And so I was in the Discord all the time, and I saw, okay, there's so much going on in NFTs at that point. And I felt like I wanted to start sharing my perspective, because I saw that since I had an ability to use my creative perspective on the art, that I could now find a way to help people understand what was a good NFT project and what wasn't, based on the art itself. And so I started to share my perspective that way, and it kind of like sucked me down this whole rabbit hole.
Yeah, and I think like everyone who joins crypto, especially those who joined crypto last cycle, they have a different story to tell. And like, in my opinion as well, because when you mention like music, art, and then NFTs, I also think that NFTs as a technology, right? They give the people and the artists and the creators the power of actually owning their own pieces of art, be that audio, be that designs, artworks, whatever it may be. It democratizes basically the whole industry, in my opinion. But then you also said, like, why were NFTs like selling for tens of millions of dollars? I think that was the hype part, right? Because most of these projects that were like the blue chips, NFT blue chips, they never had anything special, but it was just, they were hyped up, right? And a hype does its own magical wonders in the crypto space. So what I wanted to ask you is like, because I've seen different artists, even in the music industry, they launch their all albums on NFT as NFTs in I think, I'm not sure in what platform. It was something from Brave, the Brave browser.
Yeah.
They had like this sister company, or I'm not sure. It was something with audio, and I think like many
Audius.
artists. Audius, yes, I invested on the token back in 2021.
Yeah.
That's why I knew the project. But again, it was like the golden era of crypto, I think, 2021, and it probably onboarded you and me as well, because that's when I joined crypto as well, like full time.
Mm-hmm.
So my question here would be like, how do you think NFTs will continue to basically, how will they become mainstream in terms of real artists using them, or not only artists, right? Even gamers, even like anyone who wants to use the technology as it is. Because right now, at the moment, unfortunately, because I love NFTs as well, unfortunately, they're not performing that good. So how do you think, like, will we ever recover as a sector in this industry?
I've been thinking about this a lot because now I've kind of turned into this marketer for companies, and I've also been running this community that does onboarding events for blockchain and also sponsors community events like the Pith one that we met at.
Yeah.
And so I feel like now I have a better sense of what the people are thinking about who know nothing, and like the people who are interested, but they still are scared of it. And how can we have to convince people that there's something real here, and we have to show them what can you do with it so you actually want to invest your time and energy or money. It doesn't have to be money. It can be your skills as well that you're investing in this sector. And so I think a lot about that. How can I make it palatable to them? And to me, the easiest way to do that is through what artists use, and companies and film directors, actors, musicians, building their brands through NFTs. You can create a community around a brand, and then you know exactly who the 1,000 most loyal supporters of your brand are. If Taylor Swift had made an album in her very first one, back in 2007 or something, like if she had made an NFT of that album and then she had given it to like 10,000 people, and she said, these 10,000 people are my most loyal fans, how much would that be worth today? Because those people would say they have the provenance to say they were her early fans, they would have the verifiability to be able to back it up, and then they would be able to share that with other people who are her global fans. And then the value of that asset is determined by the growth of her as a musician, as an artist, as a business person. So this is kind of the major thing that when I talk to people about NFTs all over the world, this is what they can understand. It's like, oh, if I am growing a brand or a company and this person has the NFT, then they can say in some way they are directly benefiting from the growth of this brand, artist, musician, whatever. And so you are like an investor, but also a fan, and a consumer, but also a part of the community that can actually help grow the product. So that way is the way. And then obviously gaming NFTs, it's something that people haven't really figured out yet, because so many game companies come into NFTs wanting to either use it just as merch, or the games who really want to use Web3 to its fullest extent, they're not good game developers, or they're starting out, or they haven't found quite that product market fit yet. And I think that's another huge avenue that we can go to, because if you tell a gamer, look, this money that you've spent so much time and energy on, that's just in-game credits or whatever, you can now take those and sell them for money, is like an insane value proposition to that gamer. Like if you could play Call of Duty in one way and not make any money from it, or you could play Call of Duty in another way and make money from it every time you play, which game would you play? Right?
It's obvious. So.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, you said it yourself, it's about having the right ambassadors maybe to promote it. You mentioned Taylor Swift, and I completely agree with you, because her fans are like super crazy, and they would buy every single NFT possible. But like, that would be an outlier, because there were a lot of big artists that did NFT albums and stuff, but it didn't fully work out, because some people perceive them as being as quick cash grabs, if you know what I mean, and not necessarily bringing value to the people who were buying those. But for example, if you have a different approach, for example, if you buy this NFT of this song or album that I'm putting out, you get a free ticket on this concert or whatever. You know, that's one way to onboard people. Another way, which would be to maybe help scale this industry more, would be free merch, and that's what I loved about the event that you guys organized in Crossroads. It was one of the best side events there. The pillows, and I still have those. So, but yeah, basically that's what I wanted to say. But I wanted to touch upon Hoko as well. You are a huge proponent of the Sui ecosystem as well. So could you like give us a brief on how has that been working out for you, and what do you think of the Sui ecosystem in general? Because we've had a lot of we've covered a lot of blockchains in this show so far, and surprisingly we haven't covered Sui at all. I mean,
Okay, yeah. I mean, well, part of the reason why I love Solana so much is because I saw that this is reducing a lot of the barriers for normal people to understand and use blockchain. And I think Sui is also another extension of that, where they are thinking from the engineering side to the development side to even the community side. How can they make this blockchain really like accessible to people? And it's not even like they do have this really big proponent that they are 5 co-founders from the Meta team who have worked together in Facebook building a blockchain already that they ended up having to shut down because of the US Congress. And that was a whole issue. But all the people who came from that program learned a lot. And this particular team, they were saying like really knew how to work well together. So what I like about them is the founders are very engineering focused, solving the problems, using Move specifically that was built like as a blockchain native language, which is something that is a new evolution of computer language. So I liked that idea that they were taking the language, they were thinking about it from like even like a hardware standpoint. How can we reimagine decentralized storage with Walrus, where it's kind of like other ones, but you can do so many other things. There's integration specifically for AI. There's the ability to, as a user, buy, sell, and trade your storage space, which I think is really interesting and possibly like has some really cool implications on an institutional level. And also, like there's so many different things that are being built right now. It's still a very early ecosystem, but I kind of look at it like Solana in 21 because it reminds me a lot of those same things. There are a lot of things that need to be figured out. It's still on the marketing community side, needs a lot of growth, which is why I'm trying to help it grow. I'm the kind of person who, when I believe in something, I want to put my energy and effort into making it grow. And that's like NFTs are a big part of it. That's why I spend a lot of time on NFTs and onboarding and education. And it all kind of ties in together with helping people understand, like, here is this new thing that you should be afraid of. You know, you should be afraid of, but there are ways for you to make it make sense in your life. And so Sui is kind of trying to do all these little things that really make it useful on like a technical base layer standpoint, which is something that I think is unique. Like it still needs a lot of growth for sure. But they did this conference in Dubai last June, something like that. And it was really an interesting mix of Silicon Valley and Web3 in the same place. And a lot of the people that I met there were either from the tech world or from the crypto world. And I even did this like A/B test of my clothes. Like normally when you go to a crypto conference, you go in like a t-shirt and a hoodie and a backpack. So I wore like the t-shirt with my logos on them and stuff. And then the next day I went and I wore like linen with like super fancy clothes, like look more like Dubai, Silicon Valley. And it was very interesting for me to see the way that different people treated me based on what I was wearing and what like sector they thought I was in, just based on the way I looked, you know. And it was a really cool blend that I feel like is going to be more and more in the future, because now that all the institutional money is coming in, more of the tech companies are going to come into crypto, and there's going to have to be this blend of culture somehow. So to me, Sui is a very early experiment in that. How can we blend the Silicon Valley culture with the Web3 culture?
Yeah, and it's like institutions coming in, I think it's a double-edged sword, in my opinion. It's like really good, but we have to, as Web3 natives, we have to never forget our principles, right? Our values, because we're trying to decentralize something. We're trying to make it like accessible for everyone. But yeah, like as when you mentioned like Sui and Solana, I think we're at the point where people are starting to understand that when we look at things in the long term, right? They understand that there's not going to be one like king, let's say. It's going to be multiple projects building huge ecosystems and basically communicating with one another seamlessly, right? With all these cross-chain, chain-agnostic technologies and protocols that are coming in. So I think Sui has the potential to do that, because I know it has had like the backing it deserved until now, but community takes time. I think building a community, especially in today's value extraction culture that we have at the moment in crypto, is like finding gold in the, I don't know, 1,820 in California or something like that. It's like super rare, right? And it's super hard as well. But yeah, I mean, 2017 was Ethereum until 2021, and then 2021 people started noticing Solana, but not really. And then now is Solana's time. These last 2 or 3 years have been Solana's time, and I think it's just Solana's gonna continue to grow 100%, in my opinion. I have to mention this every time. Like, I hated Solana, by the way. I was like, I loved every blockchain, but not Solana. I don't know why. I was biased for some reason. But then when it fell to, I think, $8 or $10 when it collapsed, and then it reignited. It rose from the ashes, and Dran right here, like, he was like, "Oh, it's gonna come back. It's amazing." I was like, "No, it's dead. It's not never gonna come back." And then he convinced me that it's gonna come back, and then it came back, and then that's when I started loving Solana, because it's all about the community. They did one thing right, and that was community. Now they're doing many other things right, and that's scalability, accessibility, being able to have this to give people this user experience that, I mean, I think some apps in Solana are easier to use than Web2 apps, right? And
yeah,
to me that's amazing, because I remember 2021, I mean, just using MetaMask. I don't know if you like MetaMask, but just using MetaMask was a pain, and I know how many how many failed transactions I went through just because I didn't have the energy to deal with them. So yeah, like my question here would be, not a question, just like a point of discussion, communities, right? So I wanted to tie on NFTs, institutions, and how will crypto communities work in the future in your perspective, because NFTs right now, and since they started back in 2021, they fostered these amazing communities. I know people who, myself included, I bought an NFT. It's my PFP on Twitter right now. It's a totally different blockchain. I've been holding it for 3 or 4 years. I could have sold it for like 20x, 30x returns. I didn't. Now it's worth at most $100, and I still hold it. Proud. I love it. I'm probably gonna print it and just put it in the wall somewhere. But like, do you think this will continue as a culture, right? Because crypto culture is changing quite a lot and really fast.
I do say that I think about it a little differently as an American who's living in the Middle East, because I see the difference, the way that the American Western culture looks at crypto versus the way that people in this region do, because they look at it as an access to a global market for their skills, which the internet has, but there's a lot of barriers to it that are not the same as the ones that exist in crypto. So there's a way around those barriers for these people that don't have them normally. And so I think institutions are starting to figure that out, that the major users are not going to come from the Western world. They are going to come from the developing, emerging economies like Nigeria, like Turkey, like India, like Indonesia, the Philippines. Those places are usually like the first to adapt things because they have the most desperation to change their sources, and their sources of income, their sources of opportunity. How are they going to be able to like really solve their problem? So I think the institutions, when they start realizing that, I hope at least now, there can be a way for them to understand when you come to crypto, you have to act a certain way, which is something that I'm seeing with Sui, by the way, because a lot of the people on Sui who are in charge didn't really know how to interface with the community. And they are learning this slowly over time because they're seeing, wow, there's a lot of people you can't trust, but there are a few people that you really can. So finding that filtration system to further your goals is the thing that really should be the most important to them. And the reason why I'm doing everything I'm doing, like I've been writing a blog for the last 3.5 years, and on top of the community stuff, is because I want to help shape the culture. I want to help show people in the business world in America, if you want these users, then you have to treat them this way. And whether or not they listen to me, that's on them. But all I can do is be the conduit for this message that really does like embody, as an example, the Web3 ethos and convince the businesses of the value to them of being this way. And so not everyone's going to do it. There's still a lot of people who just think of this as an ATM and they don't really think beyond that. But what I consider my job is to show them all of the reasons why you should be focusing on doing things the crypto way, because it will attract more people than if you just want to do it the regular Web2 way.
Do you agree that even in schools, even in primary schools, even in music schools, for example, these kids, they need to know and learn that they have the opportunity to develop their talents and share what they're able to create using blockchain? Because the path to finding out about blockchain as a musician, I think it's a very, very different, and in 90% of the cases a musician doesn't even think about going into blockchain in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, that's another reason why I wanted to share my perspective and my journey from as early as I could, because I want to be an example to show people, look, if you want to make this transition for your own sake, not like for your own sake as an artist, if you can, instead of trying to do it the way that I did it my whole life, where you join a band, you write some music, you go try to find places to play, you try to get one audience member at a time, or you use social media and you try to compete amongst the giant like ocean of content that's there. There's another way that you can be very curated and very specific about getting your audience in a way that actually benefits your brand over time. Very much organic growth. And I just feel like it's a long journey to learn the tech side, to learn the finance side. But I wanted to show people that there is a way to do it. You don't have to do it the way that I did it, but here is a way to show you the possibility. And that's kind of part of why I've documented everything I've done. Like my X account isn't to get followers and to become a brand ambassador and whatever. It's to show myself as a portfolio and as an example and as a journal for everything that I'm doing in the sector. So I want people to understand that like this sector can give you benefits in a way that matters to you as an artist, but it just requires you to kind of reskill and think a bit differently about how you can use it. And I think the whole world needs to do that right now with AI anyway. AI is going to force us to reskill on every single job in the entire world. And we're all going to have to learn how to use this entire industry to our benefit for what matters to us. And so I think AI and crypto go hand in hand in that, whereas we rely more on AI and AI starts to use more blockchain technology for its own sake, like verifiability and even like financial transactions and stuff, then we will also need to learn as human beings more and more and more about how these two technologies go together. So I think it's either going to be forced, on some level.
Yeah. And the thing about AI is that it's increasing the level of competitiveness in every in every area, in every sector, in every industry, and in crypto as well. I mean, because every Web2 job, every traditional job applies to crypto as well. And then if you use AI right now, you can outcompete everyone if you're good at using AI. I mean, if you train yourself. But yeah, what I wanted to ask you, so like we don't want to take too much of your time, but to wrap it up, one really, really personal question. Don't get offended, by the way, because I know you love music, but like the question is, back in 2012, if you had listened to the guy about crypto and you bought, like, let's say Bitcoin, would you be thinking about music today?
Yeah, it's funny because I was very much in the music mode at that time. I was going to school for audio engineering at the time, actually. So I think about that a lot. Like why I think the biggest lesson that I learned wasn't like, oh, why didn't I buy it? It was that I was too like afraid in some level of putting myself in a vulnerable position or diving really deep into something that I didn't know. And now I know that, first of all, I don't need to be afraid because I can figure it out. And also that this whole journey has taught me to just be more self-assured, to just do the research, to really never say I can't do it. And I just have to keep pushing myself more and more. And so that's like the lesson that I wish I had learned wasn't I should have bought Bitcoin, but it was I should have taught myself that you can figure out how to buy it more.
I mean, this is probably the best way to answer that question because it really sums up what people should be focusing on doing, especially when trying to learn and to basically explore things such as crypto or anything in their life at the end of the day. Because if you're not self-assured, it's probably gonna give you some issues in the future. Okay, you just motivated me, man. After this, I'm gonna have to go to my PC and just start exploring.
Great.
Perfect, Kelly. So thank you very much again for giving us this. I mean, it was really insightful. It was amazing, and thank you again for joining us today. I hope we're gonna probably talk again in the future and then see where the market goes. Discuss what's going on, what changed from today to the future, and everything in between. So thank you very much.
That was so awesome. Thank you. I'm really grateful for this opportunity.
This was amazing. One of the main things that I liked about this episode was Sui.
Yeah.
Why Sui? Because water, guys. Drink fucking water and stay hydrated. Not for real. I like the part with Sui because I think we need more ecosystems building. We can't just rely on Solana, can we? Not because it's unreliable, it's just that we need more projects building. It's 8 billion fucking people in the world. If we're trying to onboard everyone, I mean, just think about it. 8 billion people, we need at least 10 huge blockchains for that to function.
Yeah, and it's not fragmentation. It's providing different streets to go to a certain direction.
Yeah, I used the wrong word, but yeah, exactly. We talked about this when we had VAR, I think, from Ethereum. They're trying to scale Ethereum, so...
No, that was for layer 2s.
Still, it's the same analogy that you used. So, yeah.
No, that was with highways. Here
Man,
I said...
it's roads and highways, it's like...
It's a different thing.
Okay, I'm really sorry.
And I said streets, not roads.
What's the difference? British and American English, 100%.
Think about it.
Fuck. I have to reflect on myself.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. The community is what makes the blockchain, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day. You can have the best blockchain in the world, but you don't have a community, who's gonna use it?
Yeah, so...
You said, what if you have the best street infrastructure and highway infrastructure in the world, but no one fucking drives a car in it? What can you do about it? Nothing. Either bring people in, or... I don't know. Have your CEO and co-founder sing on FCC.
Yeah.
That's Vitalik Buterin. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us in this episode, and a special thanks goes out to Flash Trade. I started trading again because of their interface, and I'm still losing money, by the way, guys. I need to talk to the CEO, but I'm probably gonna win something because I started leverage trading on pump.
It's a skill issue.
It's a skill issue. It definitely is a skill issue. So yeah, see you on the next episode.